Hi everyone! In today's video, we are going to break down how to choose the right settings and show you the easiest way to get everything configured. Let's dive in. So you finished your project and open the Export Project window. In the top panel, you can select your media device and just to the right, the output video format, which changes depending on your choice. In most cases, a PC will be the right choice for you, so let's select that. Then on the right, we choose the format, or as it's often called, the container. MP4 is the most popular, so we'll go with that. Next, we go to the Edit profile. This is where you can fine-tune your file. The top part of the window contains the ready-made profiles, and we'll get back to those a bit later. For now, let's focus on the video settings section. The first important thing is choosing the codec. We recommend sticking with H.264 or H.265. The next parameter is resolution. By default, it is set to original, which automatically uses the same resolution as your project settings. But you can choose any other or even set a custom one. Frame rate picks the value from your project too, but you can change it from the list of available options. We recommend choosing a frame rate that matches your original footage to avoid any potential playback issues. Aspect correction lets you stretch the video to fit a new aspect ratio or fit your project into a new one without stretching. In most cases, it is better to fit it without stretching. Now, let's move on to an important setting, the encoder mode. The first mode, constant rate factor, CRF, is the most efficient way to encode your video. It preserves quality in complex frames and reduces file size where high quality isn't needed. The quality setting controls how this mode works. Setting it to 100% gives you maximum quality, but that's often overkill, since the file becomes unnecessarily large. In most cases, setting it to no more than 70% is more than enough. For example, with a Full HD video at 30 frames per second, setting quality to 100% gives you a bitrate of around 100,000 kbps. At 70%, it drops to about 14,000 kbps. So the file size increases nearly 7 times at 100%, while the visible difference in quality is barely noticeable. Most platforms like YouTube even recommend values of 58% or higher, so there is no point in going beyond that, because the platform will recompress your video anyway. The second mode, average bitrate, is ideal for streaming or situations where you need to maintain a consistent bitrate at the level you set in the bitrate field. The downside is that in complex scenes with lots of motion or poor lighting, the available bitrate may not be sufficient, which can lead to visible artifacts during playback. The third mode, constant quantizer, locks in a fixed quality level for every frame, regardless of scene complexity. It often results in unnecessarily high quality and significantly larger file sizes. It is only recommended if you absolutely need perfect quality in every single frame. Keep in mind, though, that the file size can increase by around 25% compared to using CRF at the same 100% quality setting. And finally, the target file size mode lets you set a specific file size that the encoder will aim for when rendering your video. This is useful when you need to keep the output file under a certain limit, for example, to fit an email attachment or upload requirement. However, keep in mind that this mode does not guarantee quality. If the target size is too low, the encoder will have to heavily compress the video, which can result in a noticeable loss of quality. Now let's move to the audio settings. You also have a choice of different codecs here. The most popular one is AAC, which is the standard for YouTube, Apple Music, and most streaming services. It offers the best balance between compression and quality. The second most popular is MPEG Layer 3, or simply MP3. That is the most common format out there. The Opus format is great for streaming with a low bitrate because it maintains excellent quality. AC3 is suitable for DVDs, Blu-rays, or digital TV. And if you want the maximum possible audio quality, the FLAC format is the way to go. Let's choose AAC for example. Next, we set the maximum bitrate for audio, which is 320. It allows for the highest quality. The sample rate also affects quality. 44,100 Hz is sufficient in most cases, but you can go up to 48,000. It will increase the file size just a tiny bit, but you most likely won't hear a difference. However, if your video contains dialogue, we recommend sticking with the original values. A mismatch between the audio and video sample rates, for example, 44.1 kHz and 48 kHz, could cause them to fall out of sync. Let's go back to the video settings. There is one option we haven't discussed yet that lets you open the specific settings for the codec. If you don't need to fine-tune the codec, you can use the presets instead. In the drop-down menu, they're sorted from the fastest preset to the slowest. The very top option speeds up export time, but results in a larger file size. The lower the mode you choose, the slower the export will be, and the file size will decrease. It happens because the encoding algorithm works more thoroughly as it's a longer process that allows for a smaller file. However, these presets do not control one important parameter: whether to use your graphics card for encoding. To enable this, go into Configure. Expand the hardware acceleration property and choose the mode that works best for you. After this, your graphics card will be used during encoding. But remember, for the graphics card to make a significant difference, it needs to be quite powerful. There is no point in forcing the use of an integrated GPU or a weak external graphics card, as the processor might actually handle the task better. And the last thing we'll cover are the profiles we promised to tell you about at the beginning of the video. They can be divided into two groups: those with hardware acceleration and those without. From the list, you can choose the quality level you need. The great thing is that you can also add your own preset. Just give it a name and a description, click Add Profile, and then save it. It saves your settings so you can use them in all your future projects. If you have saved your own template, later on you won't need to go into the Edit profile at all. You can simply select your previously configured profile at the bottom of the Export window and proceed directly to exporting. We hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. Subscribe to the channel to learn more. Bye for now.